This is Brad calling from Oregon.
Hey, Brad.
I was wondering, is that true about you had to stop making Maddox references for years? He called your probation officer, tattled on you for impersonating him, et cetera, et cetera.
Of course he did.
Can you explain that? That's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. That's all. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but right around when COVID first started, I made a few calls where I pretended to be Maddox. And I said I lived in an apartment and I had to make a bunch of crazy changes because if I didn't make those crazy changes, it would affect my livelihood. You know, it was related to my podcasting or whatever I was doing. I forget what even happened in the calls, but it wasn't a big deal. But Maddox decided to make it a big deal. He called my probation officer and said something to her like, hey, I don't know who this Brad Carter guy is, you know, but I really don't want him impersonating me. It makes me really uncomfortable. Is there any way you could get him to stop? You know, he's playing the victim like he always does. And my probation officer, she showed up at my house that night and she was super nice about it. She's just like, hey, you know a guy named Maddox? I'm like, yeah, I know Maddox. And I told her the story of Maddox. And she just nicely asked me to not do it anymore. Don't bother Maddox. Don't make calls impersonating Maddox. And so I didn't. I guess I can start doing that again, right? Maybe I used his real name too. I don't think so, though. I think I would just use the name Maddox. So really, like, can he even make me stop doing that if I'm not using his real name? I don't know. I stopped because they asked nicely, and I don't want any trouble.
Brad.